Hello. Love you too. Okay. Well, like Kyle said, I've been here since fourth, fifth grade. I've been here a lot, and I've learned a lot here, and it's amazing. And before I start, I just want to say, if I start choking up and tearing up, just know that I haven't told a lot of people my backstory, and I'm sorry if it comes out a little bit muffled. All right. So, my name is Paul Kondrit, as you guessed from Kyle's screaming in a name. Um, I go to Paloma. I'm a junior, and basically, like most of you here, I'm guessing, I grew up in a Christian home. Christian mom, Christian dad, two sisters. Thank you for recording me, Ryan. I see that. Amazing. Um, two sisters, and I always knew growing up, I always knew of God. Like, I always knew he was there. I was told repeatedly through Sunday school, through middle school, I always knew he was there. The problem with that was I didn't actually know him. I didn't know him personally. I didn't have that relationship. I didn't have that friendship with him. I didn't hear his voice. I didn't seek after him. It wasn't till 8th grade, winter camp, here, actually, that we went to Pondo. And it was during the last night, the Aha, Jesus High. This is like where everyone starts crying. If you went to camp, you know. That through all those tears, all the people crying around me, that I actually heard God's voice for the first time. And I heard two words. And this is what jump-started my relationship with Christ. Only two words. I heard him say, "Follow me," right loudly in my head, and I'm not going to lie, I may or may not have started to cry. And that's when my walk started with him. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys here. It hasn't gotten easier. I thought when I started a relationship with Christ, my life was going to be perfect, no problems asked, or no problems given to me. Everything would be easy. In fact, the opposite happened. When I started having a relationship with God, he gave me a empathetic heart. Basically, he gave me the ability to walk a mile in someone's shoes and to kind of carry their burdens with them. Problem with that is I just got the gift and I didn't know how to use it in the slightest. It's like when Kyle first got a iPhone. He doesn't know how to use anything on there. So basically what started happening was I started helping people. I started taking their burdens. I started, lifting them up. But I wasn't giving it to God. I wasn't giving their burdens or my burdens to God. I like to use the analogy of it's like walking with those buckets, like the poles, like the pole and the buckets on the sides, right? And I have my rocks in there, my pebbles, my burdens. And then I'm walking around this dirt road and I see people's burdens. And so what I would do is I would take handfuls of these burdens at a time, throw them in the bucket, and then leave them in the bucket and keep on walking. Problem with that is if you guys ever held a weight or whatever, it gets pretty heavy pretty fast. So sooner than later, I found myself burnt out. I had so many people's burdens on my backs, all their hopes, aspirations, all their problems, all their worries, that my faith started to buckle because my relationships just started going. And that happened, and that continued on for a good year. I'm surprised I actually lasted a year. The kind of tipping point that kind of pushed me down was my ex now, but she broke with this girl. She broke up with me 4 days before Christmas. Yeah. Over text. And and basically that happened, and I completely fell down. All the weights, all the burdens that everyone else had on my shoulders, I completely lost it. It pushed me down so far that I couldn't get back up. It was like doing push-up with 1,000 pounds on your back. And that kind of pushed me into this deep, dark depression. And that lasted for another good year. It wasn't until the next, I guess you can always say, winter camp that I actually started to fight back. Because what was basically happening was I was laying down on the ground and expecting to get up without putting any effort in. I couldn't move at all. Until winter camp, and it was the last night again. And through that entire weekend, I just questioned everything. Why am I here? Who am I? Is God real? Why the heck is this happening to me? But I use a stronger word than heck. And it wasn't until the last night where I actually talked to someone. Because that entire time, I didn't tell a single soul. Not one person knew what I was going through. Not one struggle I was dealing with. And so that was until Pastor Brian, you may know him, you may not. I was sitting outside on the bench. It was the last night. It was the aha moment, right? I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. I left. I went outside, sat on the bench, and tried to hold back my tears. That's when Pastor Brian walked out, and he saw me, and he asked me this question: "Are you okay?" And I kind of did the thing that I do, which is saying, "Yeah, I'm okay," just trying to get him off my back, because I didn't want to talk to anyone. Then he asked the best question that I'll always try to ask everyone: "Are you really okay?" And I completely broke down. I let everything go. I told him everything who I was worried about, my friends, my family, not all their burdens, but I told him what I was worried about them for, all my burdens, my depression that I was struggling with, all my anxiety, all my heartache, my pain, everything, the knife that I felt in my back. And he helped me through it. Yeah, he did. Flat out, he helped me. He took the entire night, but he helped me. And that kind of kick-started it. And that's when I started to fight back. I stopped letting the voices in my head that said, "Stay down, you're not worth anything. Stay down. Just stay down. You're not worthy of anything. You're useless. No one cares about you." The voices that were keeping me down for so long, that were hurting me personally, that were keeping me in a depressed state, I finally started to fight back. Voice crack. I finally started letting the voice of truth in. I finally started letting it speak truth and light in my life. Instead of every time those voices would say in my mind, the Holy Spirit would go, "What the crap are you thinking? Stop that. You are worth something. You are a son of God. You help people. You try to work with people. You try to help people through their problems. How can you say you're worthless? Jesus Christ died on the cross for you. For you. How can you say that's worthless?" And started speaking things like, "You think your life is worthless, yet someone gave their life to give you yours." And I basically battled for a while there. I remember when and I'm saying battled because I didn't win all the time. There's times where I shut it out again, but then reopened it through friends. I shut off the voice of truth. I started getting, it was basically like one of those hills that go up and down, right? I went through one of those, and I remember the lowest point that I got was I got to a point where I basically almost hurt myself, I guess you could say, in a monotone. I still remember, I could still feel the metal of that knife on my skin. I'm not gonna lie, I can still feel the metal on there. I can still feel the cold bitterness. But I also remember every time I think of it, I also remember what made me put it down. I remember my families, my friends, the people I care about, the people I was helping. I thought, why would I ever do that? How could I make me that much, hate myself that much, and leave them alone? I wasn't willing to give up my friends, the people who loved me, and hurt them to hurt myself. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but it got to a point where I said, screw it. I'm going to live my life with Christ. And I've been living my life like that with hope, love, friends, family, and I'm so thankful for them. I am. Not a lot of people know this, but I try to help out as much as I can around here. I try to do 17 with Charlie Ann, tech, and I'm also a small group leader for 7th grade boys. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want anyone else to feel the way I did, to feel alone through their walk, through their life. I try to help as many as I can, and that's why. And yeah, I guess that's my testimony in a nutshell.